Welcome back, and yep, you saw that right. We put electric power steering in this Z, and it is a blast to drive. So stay tuned to see how we got there. All right, so previously going over the electrical on this electric steering system that I installed, I did have it wired to a switch to test it out, which you saw. There's very fluid turning. It's nice. You can one finger turn it when you're sitting there. It's great. However, you don't want the power assist all the time due to the fact that when you're racing, these things, you don't need it that smooth. That's way too smooth for power assist. So what they do is they have it connect to the speedometer, I guess, to the speed sensor on your transmission. That way it knows how fast you're going and it can adjust according to the speed that you're going. But if you do not have a speedometer sense directly off the transmission, maybe you have a cable driven, I don't know, maybe you just don't have it. So what you can do is buy this GPS sensor right here, which actually has an antenna and it knows how fast you're going, which then sends signal to the brain, the ECU of the electric power steering, and then tells you how fast it's going. So all I need to do is add a switch here. The red is switch, the black is ground. So ACC switch, meaning when the key is on. The black is ground and the yellow is to that signal wire for the speed sensor. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that wired in. It shouldn't take me too long. And then we're gonna move on. The carpet kit actually arrived for the car. So we're gonna tear out the interior and get that in. But before we do that, I actually have it on the lift and I'd like to lift it up in the air. I wanna change the oil pressure sensor. It's not reading correctly, so I have another one. I'm gonna throw it in there. I'm gonna change the oil. Then we'll drop it back down and finish the interior. So let's get going on that. All right, the GPS sensor is now installed. It's on the dashboard. I'm happy. I'll show you later. But in the meantime, I have this thing in the air. It is ready to show you exactly what the suspension looks like. I wanted to do a quick oil change in the oil sending unit because it was a little sketchy. You know how these LS motors get. Just wanted to make sure I had no issues. Also, I'm running 1030 oil in this. Too thin. The way I built this motor, I wanted it to have some Valvoline 2050 for bearing clearances and other reasons. So I'm gonna change it to BR1. This is a really nice build. I will show you exactly what is going on with this build. It has an Apex Engineering suspension system, which has BC coilovers attached to the knuckles. Very adjustable. It's what we wanted to try on the Ronin. So why did I want to show you this suspension? I did notice that there's a lot of changes on the suspension since I originally adjusted everything. I noticed there's a lot of settling and a lot of, coilovers settle, especially BCs, QA1s, you name them, they like to settle. I actually need to readjust the coilovers a little bit, try to get the right height where I want it to be, but I also want to show you a little bit of issue that I found. If you notice on this tire, you will see there's some wear marks here from the dirt on the ground. The wear mark looks pretty even, but on the outer edge, you can see where it's clean. Now on this side, it's way worse. I mean, I just don't understand how it came this far off, but you can actually see a much, much worse wear pattern on that tire, on the outer edge, and it's actually messed up on caster and camber. Kind of frustrating, so I'm gonna have to see what's going on. I'm gonna double check all the bolts, double check everything, and make sure that we have no issues. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and start adjusting this, getting everything to the right position that I want it to be. But in the meantime, let me show you exactly how that works. All right, so what do we got going on here? Boom, Willwood's, really nice setup. It actually has the e-brake built into it, really nice. It goes straight to the normal e-brake puller. It's perfect, it's all I really need. So I'm gonna go around here. These are some, I think they're Cosmic wheels. Yeah, Cosmic racing wheels. Pretty nice, they'll do the job. Let's go on the inside here. We have the control arms here. As you see, they're adjustable in numerous locations. You got Heim joints, turnbuckles, everything. So pretty adjustable. The issue is how they're adjusted. So let me get it off my face and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so in order to adjust this problem that we have here, I'm obviously gonna have to get a laser out and start doing it the correct way, but I'll show you how I adjust that. Here we got the BC coil, okay? Real nice, pretty sweet coil over. I've used these on my Cadillac CTS-V, and as you saw in a previous video, but I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air about these. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're not. Kind of depends on the car, but I think they'll be good for these Zs. But basically it bolts right here to this rear spindle knuckle area. And basically you can loosen both of these and they adjust quite a bit in and out. So that might do most of the adjustment that I need, but I might have to do a little bit more. And if I do, that's where the nightmare comes in. The Apex engineering is a pretty nice setup. I really like the way they design it. They powder coat it, it's all pretty. But adjustability, I mean, you have to loosen this lock nut and this lock nut, but then you can't do anything. The Heim joint is not adjustable. Like, you can't turn this control arm, right? So you have to unbolt this bottom knuckle, or here, well, actually both, to adjust both of them. You don't want to just adjust one side, you kind of want to do a little bit on both sides. So that's kind of a pain in the butt. Now forward and back adjustment's pretty easy. You can actually loosen this and twist here. That's kind of nice, but really, I mean, come on, you're gonna have to adjust this in and out every now and then, especially when you're racing, and that kind of makes it a bear. But that's okay, we're gonna go ahead and adjust this and kind of go from there. I'll do it on both sides, and hopefully I'll get these things aligned. But going further down, here is the Apex suspension setup with a 350Z rear differential. Has their Apex engineering cut brace, very nice, very pretty. Also has a sway bar back here that bolts there, pretty nice. So yeah, that's essentially the rear suspension. You see the links here, you see the sway bar, it's all pretty much straightforward. The axles obviously have to be cut and shortened. They come sometimes actually sell you the axles that you can just kind of change the stubs. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. Here's the drive shaft flange so that we can run the T56 with the upgraded U-joints. It's a nice clean unit that you can buy. Did not buy that from Apex, bought it from someone else, I think Motion. Have to double check. But here is the T56 and the LS1. Also has the front Apex suspension. This is very adjustable up front. I don't know why they didn't do this in the back. But you can adjust it here, real simple. You can loosen the lock nut and adjust there, real simple. I mean, there's a lot of adjustability on the front. I'm not really sure why the back's not as easy, but maybe more adjustments needed in the front, I don't know. But yeah, here's the rack and pinion setup. You can buy from them. It's pretty clean, I like it. Turns really nice even without the electric power steering. But we wanted to make it a little, you know, a little easier. Has these really nice joints here. And then as you see, it's really hard, but you can see it has Willwoods. They stop really well, especially for this light of a car. Pretty happy with the Willwoods, to be honest with you. And then of course the BCs in the front. So there's a lot of adjustment that needs to be done on the suspension. The front alignment is pretty dang good still. So not sure why the fronts didn't settle as bad as the rears, but whatever, we'll deal with that. These, by the way, if you're wondering, wastegate dumps. So what I need to do is change the VR1 oil in this motor, and then I'm going to change this oil pressure sensor. I really just want to make sure I don't have an O-ring problem. I'm pretty positive I don't, because I actually built it for the clearances of thicker oil, so I really don't perceive any issues after that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so really need to give me one of them oil containers that you can roll around, but this does the trick as well. All right, sucker's tight. All right, here we go. Zoom, boom, bang. Here we go. Really hoping this oil looks clean. This motor has barely any miles on it. Let's find out. Oh yeah, that looks real good. Very clean. All right, I'm going to inspect the magnet and make sure that's just moly lube and not metal. Looks like it's moly lube, but I just want to inspect it. But we'll go ahead and let this drain. All right, so as I thought, it was moly lube, and again, very clean coming out of there. So now we got to get this filter off. I am changing this really early, but with the fresh build, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Actually wanted to break it in a little bit and get that done. So let that drain for a second. Not sure why I ran a Purelator. Those are junk. But I'm putting on Wix Racing, I believe. Double check what I bought. I usually run my K&P filters that I sell on my website, the forged ones. I'll have to show you in another video. The K&P, you can open it apart and see everything, and it's much better. Much finer element, cleaner, much nicer. So, whatever, this one I won't. We'll let this drain and go from there. All right, so that's done draining. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you how this works. Basically, you unbolt this, you put this in, you bolt it back down. No, I'm kidding. What you do is you go ahead and take the sensor wire off, which is a 3/8, usually. I mean, depending on what sensor you have. And now I see exactly why I wasn't reading correctly. This thing is spinning inside there and looks broken. So yeah, it's broken. That would explain everything. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is replace it like I said. Use a 9/16 wrench. It's usually the size of the fitting on the bottom side here. These sensors are pretty universal. You can get them in a flat blade terminal. You can get them in a round blade round terminal. This one's round. Just unscrew it real quick. This explains a lot why the pressure reading wasn't correct, so I'm actually very happy. Put a little bit of Teflon on this, not too much, don't need to be carried away. I'm gonna thread this one on. And then I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this. I'm gonna take this off, put it on here, and that should be good to go. And then we'll put the filter and the oil in. All right, plugs tightened, sensors on, wires on, filter is on the motor. Make sure that you fill it with oil, but don't overfill it, or you'll have a gigantic bloody mess on your hands. Ask me how I know. Just make sure you fill your oil filter before you put it on. Make sure you spill it all over the place. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. All right, yeah. So, all right, let's move on from that. Anyway, make sure the O-ring is nice and lubricated as well, then screw it on and I'll torque it down. And then we'll go ahead and drop the car on the ground and fill it up with some oil. But first I'm gonna adjust the suspension, and then when I'm done with that, we'll be ready to continue on the interior. All right, we got her back down on the ground and adjusted, and we're no longer trying out for NASCAR. This thing used to be, yeah, just picture it. And on this side, looks good. So now that that's adjusted, I'm gonna go ahead and add some oil. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add the oil here. Just throw that around there, who cares? And here is the oil. We got the Valvoline VR1 Race Oil 2050. This has zinc, which is usually good for the old cars and the flat tappet cams, but it does not hurt to have it in the new engines as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add this in here, and then we will check for oil pressure. All right, so we got the oil changed. We're in good shape, 2050. It's nice and thick. It's gonna take a second to get to that sensor because it is very thick oil and it's a brand new sensor. So let's go ahead and fire her up to see what kind of pressure we got. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, she's coming up. Let's go hear her out there first. All right, sounds quiet. I don't hear all the sewing machine tapping that you hear on LS's. Sounds quiet. All right. All right, so I'm done. I'm tired. I'm going to call it for the night. It is getting late, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. We got the suspension adjusted. We got the sensor in. We got the oil changed. We got the GPS sensor done on the steering. Steering's done. All that's really left is putting the interior in. So I'm going to go ahead and start this back up tomorrow morning. So I'll see you then. All right, the time has come. We're gonna test drive this thing before I do any more interior. I've gotta make sure this thing actually works. So I'm getting ready. GPS sensor is flashing green. That means the steering is ready to go. We have a speed signal. I'm gonna see how it does. So let's get going. All right, so you see the GPS is reading green. Let's get it going. Steering feels nice, it's easy. Feels pretty good. So the steering is not too hard, not too soft. It goes with the GPS, so pretty happy with this. All right, so as you see, it's pulling a little to the left. So I'm gonna have to align it a little bit. We're gonna take some turns up Guanilla Pass. It's a beautiful drive, so let's go up there and see how it goes. Car drives awesome. Really nice drive. GPS sensor's still working. Steering feels responsive. Really have a lot of fun with this car. So as you see, we're up here on Guanilla Pass. It's a beautiful drive to test this on. Play around these corners a little bit. Lots of power. Car feels really good. You can see it steers really nice. Give it a nice whip. We're driving back down the mountain. Had a nice little break at a pit stop. This thing's driving really good. Now we just got to get it looking good. So got a little smoke in the cap. Nice little spin. Let's go ahead and continue test driving, get a little alignment done. As I said, it's not far off. It's real close. I put some lasers on it. Just got to get it straight with the wheel. So driving nice. Warmed it up doing my little donut, so I gotta cool it down a bit. All right, getting on the highway. All right, so now that we're onto the interior, I don't want to bore you with the details. We're going to go ahead and rip all the carpet, center console, all this stuff out, and I'm not gonna show the camera during that time. I'm just gonna rip it all out and get it ready for the new carpet, which means shifter has to come out, center console has to come out, boot has to come out, all the carpet has to come out, seatbelts have to be unbolted, you name it. So I got a lot of work ahead of me, so I'm gonna get started and take this apart. All right, so that took not very long at all. Got the interior completely ripped out. I'll show you that here in a second. We have an empty interior. We have a lot of Dynamat down. I got to clean up all the extra residual crap and just kind of get it cleaned up. But then I need to go ahead and install this new carpet set that I have here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what this new carpet is. One moment. So here is the new color of carpet. I'm not sure. I don't know. I can see why they chose this, but it's like a grayish, silverish carpet. This goes over the center hump. This goes around the e-brake here, and then it has foot pad for the driver right here. So I need to figure out how to get this thing in there and installed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Here is the driver side mat. This actually is the carpet kit. Goes in like that. And then in the back, it comes with an entire piece to go on the back. So lucky me, I have to remove the battery again. But that's okay. It's going to look a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning things up, and then I'm going to install the carpet. All right, so we're going to start with the centerpiece here. Just kind of lay it out. Here is the e-brake hole here. Okay. Forgot to rip this out. It's gone now. Ugh. Okay. So I gotta position this in here, kind of get it ready. And then my perception, or assumption, I guess, is that the center console is gonna do a lot of the holding. That and maybe some seat belts. Let's see here. No, it's cut out for the seat belts. So guess it's going to be a lot of gluing and, you know, adjustments. So this side's pretty close. I'm going to grab the mat for this side. And here is the passenger side mat. You want to get it tucked as high as you can. Kind of get it in position where it fits the best. I actually want to kind of tuck it down in here if I can. Just make it as comfortable as I can. So this actually has some adhesive here, 3M contact adhesive. This is what I used to kind of stick this on a minute ago, and on that side. I didn't get too heavy because I want to be able to adjust it, but yeah, that's essentially what that's going to look like. So let me go ahead and get the center console. I want to put that in next. All right, so before I put the center console in, I'm going to go ahead and put the shifter in. It kind of fits weird, but it fits. This is, like I said, for a T56. So get this. This goes through here. This goes through here. This nut goes on the back side. It's really hard to see as I'm doing this, so just be patient with me. Okay. Now that one's started, I'd like to get the other one started first. Here it is. So I'm going to tighten this down real quick. All right, now that the shifter's installed, you want to tuck this under so that it holds it a little bit. It's kind of hard to get to, so be careful. And yeah, just like that, it's going to help hold this all down. So got to make sure I get under it, make sure it's hiding every piece. That's just what I want to see. Excellent. Okay, so as you see, those are the screws right there. And then I have 3 bolts here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all those and get them on there. All right, next we have the driver's side. Let's go ahead and tuck that up in there. As you see, there's a switch under here for a stopper for the throttle pedal. You gotta go around that. There you go. Looks good. Perfect. Now, get this cable out of the way. And we'll go and do the backside here next. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that piece, spray some adhesive right here without breathing it in, stick that on. All right, that's good. All right, so we have most of it in. Now I have to put this piece in here, which is kind of finicky, but it goes next to there for that foot stop. Up here, kind of tuck it under a little bit. And then if you can, you try to find the holes for this. So as you see, there is a sill plate that goes here. Well, kind of, it's like a, wouldn't call it a sill plate, I guess. It's like a little trim plate, I guess. And I just kind of feed these through, try to find the hole the best I can. Now, kind of bunched up a little bit. So what you can do, is you've probably seen this on a lot of shows, you can use a soldering iron to melt holes. Another way to do it is heat up a nail. You can heat up a little nail and then poke it through. That's another way to do it. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna heat a nail and then get that one done. Then I'll do the other side. Okay, and just like the other one, I burnt a hole for the seatbelt, as you can see here. I'm gonna slide that through. Tight fit. Good. So that one's good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and climb underneath and tighten this down. All right, so on the driver's side, I have all the carpet in, I have the seat belt in, I have the holes burnt for the seat. I'm gonna go ahead and install the Recaro. So let me go ahead and get that in and I'll show you in a minute. All right, I finished installing the seat belts, the carpet. The driver's side's pretty much almost completely done. I gotta get that vent in, do the door card, but the seat is in, it's solid. The seat belts are in, the console is in. This side looks really good. I'm pretty happy with this. So now I got to get to the other side, install that seat, all the carpet over there, all the seat belts, and then hopefully the interior will be pretty close. I may not completely finish the interior, but it's going to look way better than it never did. I mean, it has been a mess for a long time, and I'm happy that it's going to look a lot better. So let's go ahead and get started on the other side and see what we can do. Okay, we have the seat belts, the carpet, and all that in on this side, and it looks beautiful. I'm actually really pleased with the way it turned out. The gray and the silver two-tone with the black, oh man, that looks awesome. So now I got to put the door card on, do the other side. But quite honestly, fellas, it's getting pretty dark. I'm exhausted. This project's taking a heck of a lot longer than I thought it would, but I'm going to go ahead and call it a night, wrap up tomorrow, and hopefully, we can continue on with this project. Next, we have back here between this, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Let me look at the angle it's supposed to go. According to the diagram, the U's with the smaller shape goes forward, so go ahead and grab those. On this side, you can see the roll cage is kind of in the way, so I'm going to go ahead and roughly mark where that's at. Give it a little cut. I don't even know if I need to cut it out. Yeah, it's even right there, so we'll just kind of tuck it the best we can. I really hate cutting up the carpet too much. Maybe we'll get a little more. I guess I'll cut it out. Okay. All right, that looks okay. This side, man, that's a lot to cut. Well, it is what it is. Let's see if that looks good. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Sometimes you just gotta eyeball things. And in this situation, it's kind of working out. So let's tuck it in. And then I gotta burn some holes for seatbelts over here too. There's just, let's see. There's one over here, it's hard to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn the holes just like the other side and kind of mark it for the seat. All right, so here we are. I got carried away. I burnt the holes for the seat, drilled the holes for the seat, got everything ready to go, and forgot that I didn't put the seatbelt back in on this side, and I did not put the boot for this. So the boot for this is pretty simple. It comes like this. I think we got it from Z1, I can't remember. It's supposed to have snaps on the carpet. It does not, so unfortunately, that's all you get. So it's unfortunate, but I guess it is what it is. Maybe in the future I can go ahead and request that we get snaps for this. But I'm gonna go ahead and find the hole for the seat belt, which is the factory location. There it is, right there. So I'm gonna trim right here, burn a hole in this, and then I can put the seat belt in. So I'll go ahead and do that. All right, so we have the Recaro seat for the passenger side sitting here. As you see, it has the provision if you want to actually add AC seats or whatever. But we're not doing that. All we're gonna do is put the new rails on so that we can install it on the passenger side. And to do that, it comes with all the hardware, everything you need, and then the rod to adjust it. So I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm just gonna go ahead and bolt this on and then we'll get it in the car. All right, so the seat is now in, bolted down tight. I got the carpet in here. I got the seat belts done, the kick rail down, everything's done here. The boot is there. The front side is pretty much complete. I just got to install that panel, install these vents and some other things in the future. But for the most part, I'm really happy with the way it looks. It's a beautiful, beautiful look. Pretty happy with this. So I'll get that door card on. And then next we'll go to the back. Here in the back we got a carpet kit that fits back here as well. So I went ahead and unbolted all this stuff, and I'm going to go ahead and lay the carpet out, mark the holes, burn them, and then get this thing situated. So that's the next part. I'm going to get started. All right, so here's the carpet kit for the back. Just kind of lay it up front here as such. Everything's fitting kind of nice, but now I got to figure out how to fit this all under and locate the holes, which is going to be so much fun. Let's see here. So if I tuck it under like this, okay. Got it fitting pretty good. Yeah, that's gonna look really nice when it's complete. So now I just gotta locate the holes. I know that there's one in here somewhere. So I'm gonna get a screwdriver, start poking around, and then burn the hole. All right, so we have this bolted down, as you see, through the floor. Had to burn the holes for this, and everything's kind of installed. Now I just need to put the battery in, which, you know, everyone knows how to install a battery, I hope. So we'll get that on there. We have a breather tube here for racing. It's required to have a box and a breather tube so that the driver doesn't get acid on them. And that's why this battery box is even here in the first place. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten down this battery and then put the lid on. All right, taking her for a run. It has been an adventure for the last few weeks working on this, between waiting for parts, getting the interior, the electric steering, the suspension, the oil, all the components done, but it was well worth it. This car turned out really nice. We're going to get on the trailer off to the customer, and we're going to continue with additional projects throughout the shop. Please stay tuned and subscribe to my channel if you can. It's always at the top of the video at the end. And hopefully soon I could do a giveaway. I actually have a giveaway planned when I reach X number of subscribers and views and all that. So please stay tuned. Hope to see you soon.